Hey, this is review by Norm. So I'm watching the ASD school board meeting. I'm at 40. Well, I went back to show this, but I'm actually double check here. Yep, I'm at about 39 minutes is what I actually watched. I just went back to kind of showcase kind of what's being shown. School board meeting. This happened on the 20th. They're talking about community partners, engaging in the community, helping the community. Very large execution to get this done, considering how many kids there are that these people need to take account of. They're talking about school psychology, school counseling, school nurturing, positive behavioral intervention supports, target intervention support, intense intervention, school-wide systems. This is fine and dandy, but where's the money going to come? Like, this is a very large thing that needs to be implemented. This is a very large scale to get something started. I'm not going to say it's attack, large scale attack. It kind of feels that way because these people are talking about in having conversations with the parents, going to their house. I advise anybody to watch this video. It's ASD school board meeting, September 20th, 2022, Anchor School District. That's their YouTube. You can. The one thing that I'm going to say right off back is I don't like how there's no comments able to be put on this, because I think that would be even better for a Q&A, as well as just taking the comments, having those like one-offs, stuff like that. I'm very apprehensive about any type of YouTube, Facebook, to where they take off the comments. Yes, there are bad comments. There are people that do very horrendous things, say horrendous things. But if you're telling me you don't have an IT professional that can like delete those, get those off, because I mean, I have a Facebook or I have a YouTube, and I have it on. You can't just submit comments. Put comments on my videos unless I review them to make sure there's not like slander, racist remarks, very hostile remarks, stuff like that. So anyways, back to the video. All right, 2.5 minutes. I just want to make this 5 minutes. Superintendent talks about how they're still short on buses. They're trying to do more for the schools. They're going into Title I schools, which are the ones that need a lot more support. They're basically families that are on the state of poverty, stuff like that. The part that's very alarming, I have to say, is that I only see 3 men having a conversation inside of this situation. Maybe that's just like what was there able to be there in person. Maybe there's more on the phones or whatever that they're not showing in the video. As I said, I'm only 39 minutes and like 17 seconds in. As far as the scene, there was Constantine, the superintendent, and then one other gentleman, I believe. I could be very wrong. I think there might have just been 2. But with that, Dave Dunley. He was another man. Couldn't really talk that well because his internet was breaking up, so he didn't even get to speak. But this is what I find very alarming, is how they're talking about going to people's houses, seeing how they are, like, they want to grant the ability for people to come to people's houses if your kid doesn't show up to school. No, I have to say I'm against that. I don't think anybody should have to fear repercussions if their kids don't go to school. Now, it is bad if your kid doesn't go to school. My kids go to school. Me and my wife are fortunate that I'm able to take my kids to school. I'm able to pick my kids up from school. That being said, there's a lot of parents that they come to this country, or they just have bad rolls of the dice, whatever, in their relationships, to where it's hard. It's hard having kids. I get it. I'm sad to say I'm one of those people that you should not have kids if you can't make the time to have, if you can't make the time to care for your kids, then you shouldn't have kids. It's horrible to say that, but I make time for my kids. I don't get to do these videos. It is almost 2 in the morning, and I'm doing this video because my kids go to bed at 9. I spend time with my wife till after that, and then I finally get me time. So if people want to throw me in the fire saying you don't get it, you don't understand, that's true. I don't understand everybody's circumstances, but having a kid is a job. No one cares about you when you have a kid. No one pats you on the back until your kid is old enough to stand on their own 2 feet at 18 years old or whatever, and they can become their own adult. I think that's one thing that I do think we need to figure out how to strengthen the parents. I think women and I think men need to be taught better skills as to stay either together or be taught how and what happens during pregnancies. I think if you teach a lot more girls in the public system, hey, if you have a kid with the dad, yeah, you might be divorced, you might not be with him, but now he is with you for the next 18 years, whether you like it or not, vice versa to the guys. One of you will have to be paying child support, blah, blah, blah. You don't get to go do what you want to do whenever you feel like it because that kid needs to be by you and they need to have a parent by their side. I believe a lot more parents need to be reprimanded for their actions as far as not financially because that impacts the kid, but I think they need to be held to some sort of standard to where they don't get to do what they want. I think that needs to be a bigger clause in there because it's affecting the school district. I see a lot of kids that you can tell when their parents don't pay attention. You can tell when the parent is not in the circle for the kid. You can tell. It's a monumentous list. But what this is talking about right now is what the school district wants to do for kids, which is to immerse themselves even deeper into the parent's house, from what I'm hearing. I could be wrong, but when you're telling me you're going to show up to my door, see what's happening, why my kid doesn't show up, no. I think every kid learns a different way, and I don't think the school district knows the right way every time. They have right times, they have wrong times. I don't know why this is so new and so blasphemous. So I will continue watching this. I'll update again as I review more, hear it. But parents, be careful. This is what's happening in the Anchor School District. They're talking about making it legally acceptable to show up to your house, find out what's happening with your kid, find out why they didn't show up because of what you guys need to do for your family. And I would recommend taking a heavy account to find those that say it's acceptable to butt into your family when some of these people don't have kids themselves. And that's one of my biggest conversation is over and imploded on itself is when I have to talk to people that don't have kids, they don't plan on having kids, they think kids are what are the lines that I hear from people that don't have kids? I don't have a kid because I don't want to bring him into this bad world. I don't want to have a kid because it's so expensive. I don't want to have a kid because of such and such reason. Like fill in the blank. I always ask people that say that, I'm like, do you just want to do what you want to do? Like, that's fine. I selfishly wanted a kid. I wanted 2 kids. I selfishly wanted a daughter and a son. I got 2 daughters. That's what I got. Now I make the most of it. I don't treat them how I would treat a son. I treat them how I would treat a woman. Now I know a lot of people will find that sexist or whatever, but I am preparing my daughters for what they need to expect and watch out for being a woman. Just as much as I look at a man that has a physically male child, he is going to be able to do more than what my daughter's going to do as far as if they get into a altercation physically. It's not happening. And so I find it very bewildered when we're not talking about how the family nucleus is now being attacked. You're telling me that you're going to go into somebody's house, knock on the door, ask about the kid's with his dad. The dad might be sick. the kid might be sick, but now you're putting words and ideas in the kid's head saying, oh, you've missed school for such and such time. Why? Is your dad not doing what a dad needs to do? It's just, these are the statements I can see people saying that'll be bombshells inside of a family unit. And this is where I have a very strong opinion against, no, you don't get to go to a parent's house. I think it should be law enforcement to a certain degree, and not like the teachers or some type of ASD person. I don't think it should be that. Law enforcement needs to take on the critical issue of what's happening in this family. ASD coming in, then the kid's like, oh, why is the school district here? Oh, you missed school, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, what's wrong with your dad, or what's wrong with your mom, or whatever. They could end up saying the wrong thing, and it only takes one wrong verbal cue to make a cascade effect. And I don't think these people, I'm gonna say it like this: majority of them, no ill will. Every business, nonprofit, for-profit, even an establishment is like just a group of people. You will always have a small minority of people that will do bad things and think they are okay because they think they're doing right things. As I always tell people, it's like the Crusades. There are people that lived under God's word, and they always spreaded God's word in a positive, giving nature. And there are those that have literally said, God said we must take over this land, blah, 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 kill these people. They are all witches. They need to be banished. There's always somebody that will have a different representation that will cause a lot of hurt over those that are trying to do a lot of good. And this is one of those things to where the human mind will make things okay that aren't okay. And people need to understand that. Otherwise, have a good night.